Hey everybody. So for this week's Cold Open, we interviewed a couple of kids that were over at my house. They are the children of friend of the pod, John. I wanted to let you know that the audio quality isn't the best on this. I was using a different microphone than I usually do. So if it's a little rough, you can skip ahead to the regular part of the show. It's about the 17-minute mark. But otherwise, enjoy.
Why don't you tell us your first name?
I'm Jack.
Jack? Yeah?
Well, my real name is John, but I go by Jack.
You know, I did not know that. Huh. I thought your name was actually just Jack. That's how my grandfather's name was John, and he went by Jack. Because everybody in his family was named John.
Kind of same thing with my family on my father's side.
Sure. And your father is, of course, who I call Mr. John. That is friend of the pod, John. So let me ask you, what do you know about Star Trek? Have you watched any Star Trek?
Yeah, I really like watching the movies.
Which movies have you seen?
I think up to 4.
Okay, which was your favorite?
The old ones.
Yeah, I gotcha. Which was your favorite so far?
I think it's The Search for Spock.
The Search?
No, The Journey Home.
The Journey Home? Which one was that?
It was the whale one where the weird pod, where they were trying to make whale sounds, but somehow they forgot that there's water that they were evaporating and turning the Earth into a cloud giant of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah. But that's your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you think... So if you had to guess, out of those 4, what do you think most people's favorite is?
Probably the first one.
The first one? Why do you think that?
Well, they'd see it and they'd go I like this. It's kinda. So, but they don't watch anymore, so it has to be their favorite one because it's the only one they've seen. But also, it would be their least favorite one.
Because they don't like it. Okay, so you're saying...
Because for the same reason.
So more people watched the first one because they hadn't heard of Star Trek before, so they went and watched the first one.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what would you say if I told you that the second movie was actually everyone's favorite?
I would be very confused.
Do you remember which one that is?
No.
The Wrath of Khan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can actually get that one. That's actually really fun. Except for the larva part.
Oh yeah, with the singing eels? Yeah, those are gross.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Let's not talk. Okay. Have you seen any Star Trek shows?
Nope.
No?
My parents think so. That we're gonna do it, but my brother doesn't want to watch.
He doesn't want to watch the Star Wars. Well, I'll have him out here in a minute to answer for himself. Yeah.
Interrogate him.
So, but do you know anything about the shows at all? Have you? So
I know that there's a show called Next Generation.
Okay, what do you know about that?
It's the Next Generation.
Okay, that's all you know.
Star Trek.
Do you know who the captain is on that one? He's a bald British guy. Does that sound familiar?
No.
Okay, so the only Star Trek you've seen then is the movies 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well that's interesting.
I still like the idea. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. So, if you could have one piece of technology from Star Trek in your real life today, what would it be?
Easy, replicator.
Why?
Then you have infinite of any given resource. Because then, say you're doing you're working for an oil company and you need to reach this quota of 1,000 gallons, but you've only got 10. Well, you can take those jugs of oil and replicate them lots and lots of times so you get up to 1,000 jugs of oil.
Sure, yeah.
So you have infinite resources of every single kind. Although that would also be pretty bad for the planet as junk starts popping up more and more from all the stuff you don't need.
Yeah, how would you solve that problem?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
You just say, oh no, humanity is doomed. Oh well, it was fun while it lasted.
And how old are you? Are you 12 yet, or are you still 11?
11.
Okay. When do you turn 12? What's your birthday's in May, right?
May 8th.
Oh, okay. So we're coming up on it in about half a year here. Interesting. Well, cool. Well, thanks for talking to me, Jack.
Thank you for letting me be on your show.
Oh, of course. Why don't you send your brother out here?
Okay.
All right, so why don't you tell me your first name?
I'm Sam.
And Jack is your brother, right?
Yes.
Your older brother? How old are you now?
I'm 10.
10, okay. So I was just talking to your brother, but let me ask you. How much Star Trek have you watched?
We watched a few of the movies.
Yeah, which ones?
I think I've seen the first one, I've seen the second one, and I've seen the third one, I think.
The third one. So you've only seen 3 movies.
Yeah. No.
The first one?
Yes.
The second one, Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
And then, did you see the one with the whales?
Yes, and we also saw the one with when Mr. Spock returns.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. So you've seen 4 movies. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Which was your favorite out of those 4?
The one with the whales.
Yeah. Why?
Because it has no absolute storyline and it's fun to heckle. But I don't like to heckle that much Star Trek because they might be listening to us right now.
You think the Star Trek people are listening to us right now? Paramount?
Maybe. Who knows?
So you think that 4 is your favorite Star Trek movie because so far it's been the one that's the most fun to make fun of?
Yes.
Sure, absolutely. So if I told you, that's the same thing I asked your brother. So if I told you that there was one movie that everyone pretty much thinks is the best out of those 4, which one do you think it is?
1, because everyone's telling me, oh, the first one's always better than the sequel. So of course people are going to say that. Did I get it right?
You did not, actually. It is number 2. Wrath of Khan is considered the best.
Oh, because people love all the gross earworms.
See, you didn't like the worms either. You and your brother are all alike.
Yes, I love them. They're adorable. They're cute.
The worms, the SETI eels?
Yes.
Yeah?
They're quite cute.
Okay. And so you haven't seen any of the shows, right?
No.
Okay, do you know about any of the shows or know anything about them?
I know basically the plots. Basically,
okay.
there's like a time warp or something, and there's an evil alien parasite or something. Oh, and people in red suits die. I also seen like the first one of the new rebooted movies.
Oh, okay, you have? Did you like that one?
It was okay.
Yeah? Did you like it better or worse than the old-fashioned ones?
Worse, because the old-fashioned ones are always better, because it's how movies work.
Yeah?
Yes.
See, and this is where I can hear a lot of your dad coming out here, because you like things that are, you like the originals better than the remakes.
He bribes me with candy.
He bribes you with candy. So do you generally find that you like the originals better than the remakes?
Yes.
Yeah?
Of course.
Okay, sure, that's fine. So, let me ask you this then. If you could have one piece of technology from Star Trek right now, today in your life, what would it be?
The phaser.
Why? What would you do?
I could intimidate people. Then people would finally I could hold up stores. I could hold up stores for more money so I could buy more video games. So I could say to my dad, hey dad, I have 100 video games. And he's like, oh my god. I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's why I need a new PC this instant.
So your plan, let me just make sure I understand. Your plan is to use a phaser to hold up a store, to rob it for money, use that money to buy video games, and then use your ownership of all of those games to extort your father into buying you a computer.
Yes.
Okay, sure. I mean, as long as you got a plan.
Yes, because I want to buy a computer myself. Besides, I still have 100 video games.
So if you're able to, get money from people, why wouldn't you just buy a new computer?
Because it's funner to watch people I don't want Fine.
Okay, sure. So you're not really robbing people for the money. You're just in for the thrill.
Yes.
I see. Okay. That's a little harsh, but sure.
Have I tell you how I like villains more than the main characters?
You have not. Go ahead.
They're just better. They're always better because the main character's like, oh, we always win. And the villain's like, rats. Well, here's my evil plan. Bam. Evil plan, yay! And then, oh no, my evil plan stopped. Way. Except in horror movies. Then it sometimes works.
You might.
And then cha-ching.
When you get a little older, you might really like Milton then, Paradise Lost. Because in that book, the devil is like the hero of the story.
Heck yeah!
So you said you're 11. No, you're 10 still,
yes,
right? Your birthday's coming. You just had your birthday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
July 17th.
July 17th. That's right. Last month. Okay. So you've got another year to go before you're
fully tween.
Right. So cool. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks. Can you send Liam out here?
Sure.
I'm turning my phaser to stun.
To stun? Appreciate that. Oh, watch the cord. Thank you. So give me your... I know, because I'm your father, but give me your first name, just for the audience here.
Liam.
Liam, okay. And how old are you, Liam?
10 years old.
10. You'll be 11 in...
February.
18. I didn't forget. I was just prompting you. I know when your birthday was. I was there. How much Star Trek have you seen?
Like a few movies and a couple of shows.
Okay, do you remember which movies you've seen?
The newer TOS.
The newer, the Kelvin ones, the newer ones with the new people?
Yeah.
So you've definitely seen those 3. What other movies have you seen? If you don't remember, I will remind you, because I watched them with you.
Half of Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, I really watched about half that one before we had to go do something. We got to finish that.
And we watched the...
Okay, do you want me to list them?
No. We watched the one with the Borg.
Yep, that's First Contact.
And we also watched another Picard one where he was riding horses and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's Generations, yep. There was one more movie we watched, you remember? This one had Kirk and McCoy, and they were captured by the Klingons on that ice prison.
Yeah, I remember that.
That one's called Undiscovered Country. Okay, so you've seen Undiscovered Country, Generations, First Contact, and then the 3 new ones. Okay, what would you say is your favorite out of those 3? Or out of those 6, because you've seen 6 of them.
First Contact. It's fun.
Yeah, that's why you like it? That's your favorite?
Yeah, it's just fun.
Okay, what's fun about it? What do you like about it?
That, like, the Borg are trying to take over the humanity, but they resume the historical timeline to restore the Starfleet ship's basics.
Cool.
For like the warp core and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, well, those are cool. So let me ask you, if I told you, I asked Jack and Sam this question, if I told you that there is one movie that everyone considers pretty much to be the best of the Star Trek movies, which do you think it is? Have I told you this before? What do you think it is?
Or show. Movie or show?
Movie.
Generations.
Generations? You think that might be what everyone likes the best?
It's also pretty fun. There's like the Mirrorverse where everything is like...
It was the ribbon, yeah. The Nexus is what they called it, yeah.
Yeah.
And nice, yeah.
Where everything was restored back to its good, happy place.
Sure.
And stuff like that, but...
So would you be surprised that if I told you that Wrath of Khan is considered everyone's favorite?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't find that surprising?
Because, like, Wrath of Khan, it's just a genuine good movie. Like, they go to Jupiter and they find Khan in there with this bug, and the bug licks his ear.
Yes, all 3 of you have mentioned the city eel. Y'all didn't like that part, right? The gross bug going in that dude's ear?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gross, right?
Yeah.
What shows have you seen? I know you haven't seen a lot of shows, but what have you seen so far?
I have seen Prodigy, Voyager, half an episode of Next Generation.
Okay, which has been your favorite so far? Oh, you've watched some Discovery too, right?
Yeah.
Which has been your favorite so far?
Voyager and Next Generations.
Next Generation? You've only seen like half an episode of the Next Generation, but it's like your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's really good.
It's really good. You enjoyed that half an episode?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that half an episode.
Okay. Who's your favorite character? Since you've seen enough Star Trek to make a decision, who's your favorite character?
Data and Spot.
Data and Spot? Spot his cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they've showed up in Generations, so you're pretty familiar with them.
Not in the first episode.
No, he doesn't show up in Next Generation for a while. Okay, so let me ask you this, because I asked the other 2 boys. If you could have one piece of technology from Star Trek right now, here today, what would it be?
The phaser.
Why?
Because I can just play around, not just with the settings, stun mode. If I want to stun a squirrel and then go pet it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to stun a squirrel just so you can pet it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They are really fast.
They are pretty fast, that's right. Yeah, but you think you could get one with a phaser? Yeah. So your friends, one of them said phaser too. Do you know who? Who could you guess?
Jack.
Nope, not Jack. It was Sam. What do you think Jack said?
The food thing.
The replicator. Yeah, you got it right. That's exactly what he said. Good job, man.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Captain's Log Supplemental. My name is Stanford. I am joined, as every week, by our lovely producer, Mariah.
Hi there.
And my two co-hosts and buds, Chris and Rob.
Hello, buddy.
Captain's Log Supplemental, we rewatch podcast, we don't rewatch podcasts. We rewatch Star Trek, and we're a podcast that does that. We're working through Enterprise because we're going in chronological order. We're more than halfway done with season 3. Thank God. We're getting there. We're getting there. If you like what you hear, go ahead and give us a rate, give us a review. 5 stars. We are 5-star people, and that would go a long way to helping us kind of reach some more fans. All right. So enough of that shit. So I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark with Liam tonight, right?
What a segue.
And, first of all, was 1981, 1982? I think it was 1981. Holds up pretty well. Does pretty good.
Sure.
I wish Marianne had a little more agency and, capability, because all she did was just kind of get in stupid situations and yell, Indy! Constantly.
Yeah, I mean, that's an 80s
to be fair,
classic.
that's what Indy does too, so.
Yeah, but, so... Having watched the movie, though, and I know, it is famously, there's this line from this stupid show, Big Bang Theory, about how the plot of Raiders of the Lost Ark would have happened if Indiana Jones had just not been there. Having rewatched the movie, not only am I happy to report that that's not true, I am actually saddened to report that I think Indiana Jones might be responsible for World War II.
Good. It's been a while since I've watched the movie.
Sure. So let me run you through this, okay? So Indiana Jones gets the Ark of the Covenant out of the ground, right? But the Nazis take it from him, right?
Okay.
And the French guy the Nazis have working for them wants to open the Ark and stuff. And this one Nazi dude who's at the dig site is like, fuck you. Let's get this to the Fuhrer. So the Nazis' plan is to fly the Ark straight to Berlin and open it in front of Hitler. Okay?
Man.
But then...
They know what happens to people who open the Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah, see, they didn't know that then, right? So...
Man, they could have melted Hitler's face.
Yes. So, had that plan gone through, they would have killed Hitler and all, the top Nazi brass in one move and prematurely ended World War II. We would have had a cut straight to the end of World War II.
So where does Ark
great question.
Does the Ark, does that happen, is that after Anschluss or before? I don't remember the exact timeline.
1936, so before.
Okay.
But it's firmly after Kristallnacht and whatnot. It's just before the Spanish Civil War.
So Hitler's in power, but hasn't done too much yet.
Well, he hasn't done too much international yet.
Sure.
Right.
But, so that's their plan. But then Indy, in an effort to try to get the Ark back, blows up the airplane it was going to be on after he kills the giant Nazi in the propeller blade.
Yeah.
So the Nazis are like, well, fuck, that was our airplane. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the Ark on the truck, drive it to Cairo, and then from there take a plane to Berlin. But then Indy hijacks that truck and steals the Ark and then puts it on a boat thanks to Saul. And then that's why they're on the submarine and they go to the island where the submarine base is and stuff. So, and then they open the Ark on that island with just the French guys and some shitty Nazis and Indy and Marianne, but they are okay because they're, plot armor. Their eyelids are made of plot armor. So basically what I'm saying is that if Indy hadn't interfered, the Ark of the Covenant would have killed Hitler and World War II wouldn't have happened. So
what was
thanks to Indiana Jones, 6 million Jews died.
What? Jesus.
So
what
this
was
actually
the plot
brings
that actually happened? Was it like Operation Valkyrie?
One more, say it again, Rob.
What was the actual plot to kill Hitler called? Like there was a thing.
Oh yeah. When Tom Cruise tried to kill Hitler, that's Valkyrie.
Yeah. Okay.
So this actually brings up the thing. There's plenty. It feels like there's plenty of like fiction about like alternate timelines where Hitler, lives for a longer time, or the Germans win, or something. Where's the alternate timeline where like Hitler dies before he does anything?
Didn't we?
I saw a Twilight Zone about that, and I thought it was Katherine Heigl who went back in time and killed the baby.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I feel like even if Hitler had died, another crazy Nazi would have just stepped in. Like,
I mean, he did have a lot of them around him.
Yeah, but they all would have been there for the opening of the Ark of the Covenant. Like, yeah, as long as Goebbels and Himmler are also dead, like, you're fine. The power structure of the Nazis would have fallen apart.
Well, and I think that was the point of this episode, is she went to kill the baby, but then there was another baby that they just...
It's just a German nursery filled with Hitlers.
It's called
Backup
Cradle
Hitler.
of Darkness.
Oh, God.
I knew it wasn't crazy.
Oh. Well, everyone's homework is to watch that episode of Twilight Zone.
There you go.
I can't remember. Did we talk about it on the pod, or were we just talking in Discord about gay Hitler?
Oh, gay Hitler.
I don't remember talking about this.
Yeah, we were talking in Discord.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't remember this, Chris? So apparently there's this dude from a small town in the
Midwest.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, now I remember.
He was like a dentist, I think?
His name was... he was Dr. Gay Hitler, and he was like highly offended by Adolf Hitler ruining the good Hitler family name.
Yeah. I think he's quoted as saying something to the effect of, "No, make him change his name. I had it first."
Yeah. Yeah, and like, to be fair, like, think about all the people that were named either like Adolf as a first name or Hitler as a last name. Like, they probably went through extreme efforts to get rid of that.
Yeah, there's being such a bad human being that no one can name their child Adolf anymore.
Yeah.
2002 on that Twilight Zone episode. Wow.
Oh, it was during that early 2000s reboot.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, anyways, Star Trek. This week's episode is called Harbinger. So I know what a Harbinger is. I'm going to be honest. I find that title to be a little kind of silly, because I don't know that Harbinger is a good term for what this guy was, but
sure,
we'll get into it. So we cold open with a recap, which I've been skipping the recaps because I've been I don't think anyone knows Enterprise better than we do at this point. So I've just been skipping those. We start with Trip doing some more footsie like pressure therapy because some director or writer or producer is really got a thing for feet.
There is so much massaging in this episode.
There is quite a bit of massaging in this episode. As it's well, at first I noticed that the feet have like painted toenails, and I was like, that's interesting. Why would T'Pol paint her toenails?
T'Pol gets pedicures. What of it, man?
And then it's like it kind of like pans up, and it is not T'Pol. It is some other lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, it's T'Pol. Oh, nope, it's the lady.
It's hot Mako lady, as it turns out. It turns out Trip was doing the neuropressure on the Mako lady. Mako lady, whether or not she actually needed the neuropressure, clearly seems to be using this as like a way to make it with Trip.
Yeah.
So she kisses him and just like, that was unexpected, but like, no, it wasn't. We could see from the camera work that was going to happen.
I was gonna say the camera work, her like extremely flirty body language. She was like all like as she was moving, being all like leaning in and
And then turns around but continues sitting on the bed facing him, like in that like high school gonna kiss maneuver. Trip seems pretty pleased with himself as we cut to Faith of the Heart.
Oh, guys, did you notice?
Uh-oh.
This is the first time this season that the cold open actually matched the energy of Faith of the Heart intro.
See, I disagree.
Yeah.
I thought that the jangly cold open or Faith of the Heart worked pretty well with the Western one.
Nah, too jangly for a Western. Not enough.
Too jangly for a Western.
No, Westerns aren't jangly. What are you talking about?
The good parts are.
I would have to agree with Stanford on Westerns being jangly. They're pretty damn jangly.
I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle.
No, that's not. No. Nope.
All right. What, you some sort of Western expert like you're Italian or something?
Exactly. Yes.
All right, so, Act 1. Archer wants Reed to do training with the Makos. Reed is a ponce. He's kind of a dick through, like, most of this episode.
I was gonna say, dude, he continually bitches and whines the entire time.
It's insufferable.
Yeah. Weirdly, this is the first actual plot that is presented. No, I guess it's the second actual plot that is presented to us. However, neither Trip and Hot Mako Lady nor Reed and Hayes are the A plot of this episode. We'll get to that in a few minutes. So this is the second B plot of this episode, is that Reed doesn't want to work with Hayes because, I don't know, he's being a little bitch about it. I don't understand what Reed's fucking issue is.
Yeah, like the whole thing is like he's trying to take over my job when that has never like actually
also
like remotely been true.
And this should be something that we all keep in mind whenever Reed talks about Mako guy taking over his job. Reed has 4 separate, distinct jobs. He's the head of security, he's the technical officer, he's the armory officer, and he's the ordnance officer. Like, even if Hayes was like, hey, I'm going to do one of those jobs, dude, you still have 3 full-time jobs you should be doing right now.
I would like to submit that we refer to this as the F plot.
The F plot. I think Trip and Mako Lady's the F plot, if you know what I mean.
F for fornication.
Yes, that's exactly what they are not married. We cut to to sickbay where Phlox is violating the fuck out of HIPAA by explaining to Paul that
I have a question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Only unmarried people fornicate? I thought that was just the general word for doing it.
Yeah, fornication is specifically sex before marriage.
That's the for part.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Before marriage. Yep.
That's why that's the sin, according to the Bible.
Got it. Okay.
According to the good book, yes.
The good book.
Yeah, we'll have a sermon about it later. So yeah, Phlox violates HIPAA by telling to Paul that Mako Lady is having headaches, and that he suspects it is because she is doing neuropressure with Trip. To Paul seems taken aback by this news that Trip is deigning to do some neuropressure with another lady. This is where T'Pol's gonna be like,
Trip, that 2-bit hussy.
I'm kind of jealous in like a very non-Vulcan way. And I know, Rob, that you are very committed to she's more human than ever, but like, I don't know, T'Pol just doesn't seem to have her fucking shit together today.
This is my favorite plot in this entire episode, and I will die on that hill.
So, oddly enough, I don't disagree, but maybe not for the same reasons. We get to Reed and Hayes complaining at each other at this point. Hayes is like, hey, let's, they're in like the hallway. It's like, hey, let's schedule some training. And Reed's like, I want to train these times. And Hayes like, no, these times are better. And Reed's like, bleh. And Hayes is like, dude, what's your fucking problem? And Reed's like, you circumvented my authority by going to Archer and asking for this training. Bleh. At which point I'm like, does Hayes work for Reed? Because I don't think that's how that. I don't think the Makos are under Reed's jurisdiction. Like, that's not his
They are not.
department. Like, no, he didn't circumvent shit. There's a lot of like close camera work where like Reed and Hayes are like, they're standing facing each other and their necks are real tense and their muscles are bulgy. And I'm really starting to understand why there's a lot of fan fiction about these two.
Oh, there is? Oh, Jesus. I thought I was just reading Trip.
No. There's a lot of Reed Hayes fan fiction as well. Some real homoerotic tension going on in this sequence.
I was gonna say it's probably like in the Potterverse, all of the Potter and Malfoy like bits, right? Like it's that same kind of like they hate each other, but they secretly love each other.
The hate fuck energy, got it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like I would have given this show so much more credit if they had just started kissing. Like,
what year was this episode made in?
Well, actually, funny you should ask because that is part of my deep dive.
Okay.
It is 2004.
Okay. Yeah. That was never going to happen on a Star
I know,
Trek show
but like it would have been better. It would have been better if they were just like, you were circumventing my authority. I wasn't circumventing shit, sir, with all due respect. Don't you all due respect? Like, oh, fuck yeah. Oh, man, I think I'm going to write my own fan fiction. So after the flex off in the hallway, we get to the bridge where Travis is complaining that the stars are shifting position. Archer goes, what the fuck does that mean? And Travis doesn't have an explanation, but they say like on screen, and it shows that space is becoming oatmeal in front of them. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
It's just space has turned into a gelatinous blob in front of them.
Yeah. It does look a lot like the blob from like the titular movie.
It's like when you cook oatmeal too fast though, and it starts to like goop
bubble up,
and splash on you, and you get like horrible oatmeal burns because it's sticky.
Yeah.
Oh god. Apparently you just unlocked a PTSD I didn't know I had.
You're welcome.
They detect some kind of metallic object inside the oatmeal. They zoom in and see that it is some kind of pod. Archer says, arm the grappler. So we get a grappler.
Grappler.
Reed, as tactical officer, fires one grappler towards the thing, but because of how the oatmeal space works, it like deflects at a very weird angle.
Yeah, like refracts, kind of like
like light. Yeah. Reed's like, I'll try to compensate, sir, and then to his credit, fucking nails it. Like he just gets it on the next shot. I was like, oh shit, nice shot, Reed. The oatmeal seems pissed that they actually grabbed hold of this
did not like that at all.
And starts trying to like come at the Enterprise. It turns the bridge purple.
There's like some sulfur gas or something going on.
Some sort of ammonia. I don't know.
No, that's what it was. Ammonia. Yeah.
It makes everyone start to. But so Travis's helm's not working. There's like sparkles going on inside the bridge, and so Archer calls down to Trip. He's like, Trip, can you pull us into reverse? And Trip, like, I understand this very dramatic thing is happening on the bridge. Nothing is happening on engineering, so even Trip's kind of like, I mean, I guess, shit, whatever. Like,
right, because the back end of it isn't in the goop.
Right, so like he's fine back there. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. So he pulls them back, and they're fine. So they pull this thing into the shuttle bay. It looks to be just a septic tank. They open the septic tank, and inside is what appears to be, at first glance, a fucking Suliban all strung up on all these wires and shit.
I'm like, they find a Suliban? I don't
Cut
remember this.
Act 2. Nope. Just a desert skin man.
Yeah.
Where I thought that his hideous demeanor was because of his gross Suliban skin. It turns out he is a separate race of gross people. Mm-hmm. His skin is like, it looks like those pictures of like dried crack desert floor.
Yep.
And his
Dude,
whole,
but
his
but
whole-
also moist though somehow.
and somehow yes, but like if that doesn't sound gross to you, it is. Like it's
I have
disgusting.
2 words for you. Scaly Voldemort.
Yeah,
I mean,
all right. But
not wrong.
not like lizard scales though. Like scale as in like you have too much dandruff. Okay, so the desert skin man's like, hey, can you just put me back in my pod and don't treat me? And Archer and Phlox are both like, no, that would be the ethical choice. We're not doing that.
I mean, he was slightly less reasonable about it though. He was more like, "Fuck you, put me back in the ship."
Okay, you know what? I'm still on this guy's side. Like until later when it turns out to be a dick because surprise, he's an alien. But like he was like, I was fine in my pod. I didn't ask for you to rescue me. Fuck off. And Archer's like, meh. He's in pain and Phlox is like, I'm going to deal with him. Archer goes to Paul and is like, what's going on with the oatmeal? Turns out 5 of the spheres are making the oatmeal. Archer's like, well, then what we really need to do is, you know how Desert Man showed up in that pod? Well, we're going to violate the fuck out of this dude's property and privacy and just go digging through that pod as much as we can. Okay, so that's the A-plot. We get out of there. We're done with the A-plot for now. We go to a training session between, like, the Makos and the main cast. I'm not sure why Reed's tactical team is, like, Hoshi and Travis and Trip, like...
Well, they said that they were going to do training for the senior officers.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that part.
Yeah, I missed that too.
Also, why isn't the captain there? He's a pretty senior officer.
Yeah, he's too busy jerking off in his office.
Yeah, my guess is that someone decided that the best way to use Scott Bakula was to assign him to the A plot and don't let him go anywhere near the other plots, which isn't wrong. So, like, I'm all right with it.
Listen, Archer does all of his training on a water polo court. He doesn't need this.
That's true. Fun fact, judo flips are not how the military teach martial arts because that shit doesn't actually work in real life. Generally when the military teaches martial arts, it's, oh shit, are you that close to someone? Punch the fuck out of them until they're no longer conscious so you can get away from them.
Do you have a knife? Stab the fuck
Stab
out of
them. Yes. Always have something in your hand. Yeah. It's pretty much, a lot of the, like, so there's I forget the name of it. There's a Marine Corps martial art that they use now, that the Marines teach, like the U.S. Marines. It's basically elbows and fists, and also kicking when you can, but like, kicking with boots isn't that easy, so it's also like, just if you're that close to them, just beat the fuck out of them. But this whole thing with, like, judo holds and arm grabs and shit, no one does that crap, because that's just a way for someone to get a knife and stab you. The primary goal of military martial arts is incapacitate them enough to get away from them so you can shoot them. T'Pol is jealous because Mako Lady slaps Trip on the ass, which is, I don't know, I'd be jealous too. Then we kind of like fade. So they're doing like some practice with, like, they pair up and do some sparring practice, which is, again, not how training works, but whatever. Then we kind of fade to where, like, I guess
no sparring gear at any point in this.
Nope.
Like,
no,
you're sparring. You have head protection and gloves on. That's how sparring works.
No. Although, to be fair, the Marines do train without sparring gear sometimes. Like, that is part of it, but it's also like, make sure you're not fucking each other's heads up. And but we fade to, like, I guess at the end they're gonna do like fucking title matches because it's Travis versus some Mako guy, and everyone else is just watching. Travis does really well, and then he goes into standby mode so the dude can fuck him up bad.
He was such a badass for like the first 10 seconds,
For, like,
and then
yeah.
he just stopped.
And then he just stopped moving. Like, he didn't even put his arms in the way. He just stood there and took the fucking ass kicking. We cut to them taking a look inside the pod, which I assume smells just like condensed ass.
Yeah.
Wait, you missed Reed's best quote of the entire episode.
You did. That is true.
He went like full British with the jolly good.
Uh-huh.
After, like,
he
they
did
break
say
up
jolly
the fight.
good, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh god, it was so awful.
It was so stupid.
Yeah, after he ends the sparring early and bitches to what's his face, he says, "Jolly good."
Oh yeah, this is. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped my note here where I said Reed is such a fucking ponce. Yeah.
I was gonna say my note was fucking dork.
Okay, so yeah, the pod smells like condensed ass. T'Pol and Tucker are looking at it, and she kind of brings up, is like, Dr. Phlox told me that you were doing this, and Tucker's like, sorry, but yeah, and she's like, you shouldn't do this if you're a novice, which is like, yeah, she's not wrong. But then he's like, but yeah, I do it to you all the time, and she's like, I was there to supervise you, and he goes, well, you can come supervise me and Cole do it. I was like,
the smarmiest fucking grin I have ever seen.
Shit, is he asking for a threesome right now?
Like it was great on the actor's part because like you could see him winding up for that line.
Yeah.
Which is real life, you know, when you get a good line in your head. I'm like, oh, this is
gonna be fucking good.
Thought of this line an hour ago. Shit. T'Pol's like, yo, you're having a relationship with an insubordinate, with a subordinate that's not appropriate. And Trip very properly points out she's not even Starfleet, so there's nothing inappropriate about it because, like, yeah, she's not a subordinate. She's like another entire fucking branch of the military. However, I will point out, like, it is somewhat inappropriate to have a romantic relationship while you're supposed to be doing a mission, because, like, yeah, you got shit you're supposed to be doing. However, before we can really get too much into this conversation, the tricorder beeps and they realize that, gasp, the pod is made out of the same material as the spheres.
Oh my god!
Ooh.
Archer goes to Phlox and's like, wake him up. I need to talk to him. And Phlox is like, he's under an incredible amount of pain because he's literally disintegrating in front of us. It would be unethical to keep him conscious. And Archer says, until I get the answers I need, we'll need to bend a few ethics.
Fuck
because
your ethics, Phlox.
If it's not clear yet, Archer is not a good person.
Archer's like, give me some of them war crimes.
He's very much a the means justify, right? No, the end justifies the means.
Mm-hmm. Trip and Mako Lady are having a conversation about maybe we should not do the thing, and Trip's like, did T'Pol talk to you? And she's like, I got the lecture. And it's like, all right, hotshot, calm down.
Right, because Cole went to for neuropressure.
I'm sorry,
with T'Pol.
Cole was talking to T'Pol here.
T'Pol, yeah,
right. I got the lecture.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
She went to T'Pol's quarters for a neuropressure session.
Right, to fix what Trip fucked up.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, this scene definitely does a good job at failing the Bechdel test.
Oh, yes, spectacularly. So we know that Tucker's from Pensacola. Is Pensacola on the Panhandle? I thought that's where it was.
I think so. I feel like it's at least northwestern Florida. I know I've driven by it before.
It is.
Yeah, it's like up by Alabama.
It is like almost the far western Panhandle. Yeah,
so,
it's right next to Mobile.
Because, and here's a little inconsistency with this show. Gasp. Because she's like, Tucker and I grew up, it turns out, about 50 kilometers from each other. We used to go to the same movie theaters, which, man, I don't know if you know how small towns work, but there's no fucking way you were driving 50 kilometers to go to a movie theater. That's not how that works. Their high schools were rivals, maybe. But then it's like both of our towns were wiped out. We saw where on Florida that laser hit. It was nowhere near there. Nope. Not even remotely.
Nope.
She says something about how she enjoys Tucker's presence or whatever, and he's hot or something. And T'Pol once again, oh, that's right, how good his arms are, his strong arms. And T'Pol once again can't actually be a Vulcan because she like has a moment of jealousy and like applies too much pressure to Cole.
It's just, yes, it's all very 2004 man-woman relationships in the show.
Yeah, and this part is very like meh. It gets better in a few minutes though. We go to back to Hayes and Reed. Hayes is also being kind of a dick, because Hayes is like showing off his ability to shoot fucking balls, and Reed sucks at it. But also, like, this isn't training. This is just like hot dogging. It's fucking stupid. Reed is again a whiny little bitch. Mm-hmm. I was like, he's gonna take over control of security. It's like, do these people not have assigned job descriptions? Like, what is the Mako dude's job? Is it security? Because if not, then why would he be taking it from you, Reed? Yeah,
just all ego.
Reed was kind of funny there, but I don't remember what he said.
Well, after he bitches about Hayes for a while, he deflects to asking Trip about Cole, and then to Paul, and then
that's right. Yeah. Because he's trying to be like, so you and Cole are fucking, right? And Trip's like, no, don't really listen to every rumor. And he's like, well, that neuropressure's pretty intimate. And Trip's like, yeah, but I did that with Paul, and I was like, do you think I'm fucking her? And Reed's like, that's the rumor. And he's like, look, it's just neuropressure. It's not intimate at all. And then Reed goes, well, if it's not intimate, I have been having some pain in my, and Trip's like, can it? So I was like, all right, that was admittedly kind of funny. Like that was a good job. Yeah. Cut back to, let's go ahead and torture the medical patient.
Oh yeah. My note was, oh look, Archer loves him some torture.
Yep.
Yeah, he's being a dick. And then he explains that he is from a trans-dimensional realm known as Oatmeal Space. Mm-hmm. That he was a prisoner, and that he volunteered to be part of an experiment. That's the only thing he knows. Then he woke up in their sick bay in pain. Then he starts Marty McFlying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What's happening to me?
Back to Paul and Tucker. I think they're doing neuropressure again. There's a lot of neuropressure sequences.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I just want to say, like, if Vulcan neuropressure really is this effective, there should just be Vulcan spas across the entire Federation.
Well, that's kind of what Cole said. Is like, why isn't this part of training? Like, why aren't we all taught to do this?
Yeah.
She seems upset. Trip's like, you seem upset. She says she's not upset. We, as an audience, know that she is upset. Are Vulcans allowed to lie or not? I really need this cleared up for me.
It is 100% entirely dependent on what the plot requires.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the whole Aes Sedai thing, not being able to lie in Wheel of Time, where it's like an old wives' tale that just kind of spun out of control for a while, and now everybody believes it, even though it's clearly not true.
Well, like in that one though, they were magically bound not to lie. They just obfuscate and mislead to get around it.
Like purposefully omit the truth.
But she said, I am not upset, when she is clearly upset. That is a lie. There's no obfuscation there.
Yeah, exactly.
So then they kind of toy around, and this is where this like plot actually kind of kicks up for me, because it's like stereotypical 2000s sitcom humor, but like done pretty well. It was actually a pretty well written little exchange. It's got that kind of wit that you found back then, of like the quick words and the like quick turnarounds on who's like on the offensive in the conversation. Mm-hmm. Basically like, so you're attracted to me? No, I'm not. Well, it comes with the territory. Da da da. It's like you said, and then she's like, and then he said, I didn't say I was attracted to you. And she said, no, Sim did. And he's like, well, you're just going to bring Sim into this. And it's like, yeah. And then he turns it around back on her. It's like, oh, so you're attracted to me. And then they start fucking.
Well, they kissed first. But then, she immediately got naked.
She immediately disrobed and fucked him.
It was like, oh, one kiss. Okay, time to bang.
And then, it's robe off, ass cleavage. Here we go. They start fucking. It's very clear that T'Pol wants to wants as much of Trip inside her as possible, and there is no Vulcan discipline whatsoever. This part is kind of interesting because there's also this level of like, we are told time and time again that Vulcans don't really have much of a sex drive except for when they are ponfaring. We know this for a fact. We know this for a fact because that was one of the things that those like happy weird Vulcans were working on, was like an aphrodisiac so that they could fuck more often than ponfaring. So like, she just wants to fuck him. There's
when
no
the
like
plot requires.
Yeah, it's just she might as well not be a Vulcan at this point. She's just a stuffy human.
Pretty much, yeah.
We go back to the sick bay. This is where I wasn't really sure whether or not like was the pod keeping him alive or not. Shouldn't you just stick him back in the pod because he's clearly like dying? But then he like leaps to his feet and like chokes Phlox out in like 10 seconds. Apparently it's pretty easy to choke out a denobulin.
Well, he like phase chokes him too, like.
Yeah, and I guess maybe that like disrupted his fucking brain patterns or whatever the fuck.
Right.
He can now go through walls. Very convenient that his feet stay on the floor.
I was gonna say the eternal question: why don't they face the floor? Just shoot
like
out
gravity
into space.
plating, man.
Oh my gosh.
We get to Act 4 where Reed is sparring in a mirror. Fun fact, anyone who trains martial arts tells you to never spar with a mirror because it makes you, like, it's not useful at all. You know what you're going to do. There's no telegraph you're looking for. That's why they tell you to film it. They tell you to film it so you can watch it later. However, this is Hollywood, and so Reed looks like he's fighting himself. Hayes comes in, they have kind of a disagreement about some shit, and then they start actually fighting like a sparring match, and they're both being kind of douchey here. There's no way that Reed wins this is in any kind of reasonable assessment of these two characters.
Right.
And then he starts immediately losing after I wrote that note. Hayes uppercut the shit out of him and then did this stupid like jumping spin kick maneuver.
Yep.
So like you could do like a reverse back kick, like that's a legitimate martial arts like move, but like jumping up and doing it is totally
because
useless.
the thing that military martial arts definitely want you to do is to turn your back on the person you're fighting. So yeah, spin kicks are totally the way to go.
And leave your feet. That is incredibly
absolutely. Because if you're on the ground, that's just 2 points you could trip over. Would you say, Rob?
It's a diving tackle. That's what Reed follows us all up with.
So yeah, Hayes leaves the room, and then Reed's like, right,
because Hayes had totally beat his ass,
like handily.
Yeah.
And then Reed does this weird flying tackle, and then they like fight in the hall. There's one point where like an extra shows up, and
it's like, oh,
and then Reed's like, as you were, and then they keep fighting, and then Reed wins the fight with an aggressive shoulder massage.
Yep. Yeah, that karate chop to the neck.
Well, first he does this like, it looked like he was trying to choke him, but he was nowhere near the front of his throat, so it looked like he was just kind of grabbing, I don't know, at his clavicles like a motorcycle. I'm not sure what Reed was trying to do.
So yeah, moral.
I mean, it must be official because Hayes does it back to him.
Yeah.
Moral of the story is all problems between men can be solved by punching the shit out of each other.
Yep.
That's what I got from it.
I mean, they're not wrong, shit. They are wrong. Holy fuck, don't come at me about that. I say to our ones of fans. However, there's an alert as they're wrapping up their fight, and they scurry off together to deal with the tactical alert. Alien dimensional dude is still walking through fucking rooms and shit, and there's like sparks and electricity flying after him.
Just taking a fucking stroll through the ship.
Wanders through this random extras like bunk, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And then he just wanders back out, and she's like, "Okay." Then I guess he gets into engineering because they're like trying to track him through the ship and like, where's he going? Da, da, da. And then I guess he gets to engineering, and there's this really weird camera work on Tucker.
I was going to say this too, because like I said, what is this, like a 20s monster movie? What is happening?
Yeah. Basically, the camera rushes at Tucker so that we understand that Tucker is no longer part of this plot. Because he does not show back up.
Yeah, not this part. The other plot, yes. Not the A plot. That's really more of a B plot than this one.
Hayes and Reed run into the alien before he gets to engineering and shoot at him. Their lasers go right through. They say out loud to Archer, our weapons are ineffective. Then they go into engineering, find him there. He's fucking with the warp drive. They shoot at him again because... and I know, and buckle up, everybody, because the weapons are still ineffective. It's crazy.
Crazy.
In what is clearly designed to be these two have put their differences aside to work together to achieve the mission. Right. Reed has to push a button while Marine guy spins a dial on the other side of the
polarity
in order to reverse the polarity of the entire fucking warp drive or whatever, and shoot the guy into this bad CGI fall off of the warp reactor.
Yep.
Are we sure this was the A plot?
I like it. It had the screen time of a B plot.
I always define the A plot as like the reason they are where they are.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, yeah. I think you're right in that this is supposed to be the A plot. Because like
Harbinger is the name of the
right. It's supposed to be the A plot.
Yeah,
like almost nothing happens.
Okay, so we get to, I have nothing to add to that. So we get to Paul and Tucker being kind of awkward in the mess hall because, like, Tucker's like, yeah, that was pretty great last night. And Paul's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And again, this is where, and this is, I'm going to say this, I need this to go back in time. This is where the writers of Enterprise strengths are. This early 2000 sitcom stuff is working so well. Like it feels like what the Orville would have been if it was in 2004. Like this is good shit. Yeah. Like it's silly, it's awkward, and like, but it's kind of campy. Like this is good stuff. To Paul, they sit down and Paul says, "Oh, by the way, I want to thank you." And Tucker's like, "Hey, no need to thank me." Like. But T'Pol explains that she wasn't actually interested in him romantically. She was just exploring human sexuality, so she decided to fuck him last night. Mm-hmm. No one believes this, including Tucker.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like, whatever.
He's like, let's keep doing that neuropressure, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And she's like, eyes over coffee.
Yeah. Again, perfect writing. Like, great use of these characters. Fun little, like, it's perfect. It's like, this is what this show should have been the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cut back to Bakula being bad at his job. He's yelling at Reed and Hayes about them getting into a fight, and he's just not intimidating even a little bit. And he's like, solve these problems. And they're like, okay, it's solved. And then they keep using the word the alien, which I feel like that seems a little derogative when they actually know aliens. But like the alien's coming back to consciousness, so he leaves and they're like, are we dismissed? Which, by the way, that's not how that works, but oh well.
It was a fun line.
It was an alright line. For Hollywood, it's alright. Archer goes to sickbay, says, what the fuck with this? He somehow grabs the alien, because I guess the alien's not phasing anymore. Grabs the alien shirts, it's like, talk to me, and the alien's like, I can't wait for the city to kill your asses, motherfucker, and then dies.
Yes, when the Zindi destroy Earth, my people will prevail.
Yeah, so we get the idea
Harbinger.
That, like, it turns out he's not an oatmeal dimension prisoner. He may actually belong to the species that built the pods, or the spheres, rather. And
also the pods.
Sure. And actually may be responsible for how the Zindi know about Earth and the whole future thing and whatnot. So nice big long arc cliffhanger there. And that's the app. All right. So on a scale from 1 to 5, where 0 is threshold, what are we feeling? Rob, why don't you go first?
All right. Torture is dumb. A plot was not great. 4 out of 5. Like I'm here for the Trip and T'Pol romance. The whole episode between the two of them was really great.
All right, Chris.
So yes, a plot was like nothing happens until like the last 2 minutes of that plot. And really, I mean, did zero for the episode. Like did nothing for this episode, like on its own. The B plot was great. Definitely agree there. For me, it's a 3 because half of the episode was pointless.
Okay. I'm also at a 3. The A plot. Fun. The A plot was I don't know. It was just forgettable. It like doesn't matter.
It was pointless. Nothing happened.
The thing that would have brought it down from a 4 for me was the Hayes Reed stuff. I find it pointless and silly in a way that is not useful. Like I find this like.
Was the Hayes Reed stuff part of the A plot?
No, that was the second B plot.
The second B plot, okay.
That was the F plot.
Yeah, that's the F plot.
The F plot. Yeah.
The thing that was frustrating about this all was it should have happened earlier in the season. Because a couple episodes ago, it seemed like they had resolved all of this.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
I don't disagree at all. But the and while I don't need a romance between Trip and T'Pol, like it's fine, and I do find that T'Pol is basically not being a Vulcan at all anymore. I did like just the genuine 2004-iness of like all of their dialogue and stuff. It worked. It worked in a way I can't even describe. I was delighted during those scenes.
Yeah, I laughed out loud several times during this episode.
Yes, yeah. I did as well. So I kept it at a 3. It would have been a 4 if it weren't for the Reed Hayes bullshit.
Yeah. See, both that and the A plot were just stupid and pointless. So,
see, if they'd pulled the Reed Hayes bullshit and just spent more time with Trip and Cole, like between the Trip and T'Pol things, like you keep going back and forth, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that would have been a 5.
Like a whole sequence where like Trip is talking to Cole in her quarters and then talking to T'Pol in her quarters and then going back to Cole in her quarters and they're like, having like an extended 3-way argument.
I'm not surprised that your ideal for this episode is Les Reed.
Fucking hate that guy. He's such a ponce. Okay, cool. Any other final thoughts there before we cut the segment? All right, good talk. I'll see you out there. We will be back after a very brief break. Welcome back, everybody. So, for the deep dive today, I mentioned several times that what I actually enjoyed most about this show was just how 2004 it felt. This episode streamed. Wow. Oh boy, what a modern way of thinking about it. This episode originally aired on Wednesday, February 11th, 2004. Okay? I thought it might be a fun little peek into the past to kind of look at the other things that were on TV at the time.
It's interesting that they aired this particular episode, this romance-heavy episode, around Valentine's Day.
That is interesting.
That is interesting.
I wonder if that was on purpose.
Good question. So let's do a little game. Chris and Rob and Mariah, if you would like to. Each of you think of 3 shows you think might have been on around then.
Oh, Jesus.
What year was this?
2004.
Where was I?
You were graduating. You were literally in your last semester of your undergraduate degree. And for Chris and Rob, we were in the spring of our senior year of high school.
Should we just start listing things off here?
Yeah, what do you got, Rob?
So like other sci-fi shows would be like SG-1.
Okay.
That was really big back then.
American Idol.
Hold on.
Ooh, American Idol.
Keep these to network television, not like Sci-Fi Channel stuff.
Okay, it was 24. Was that on?
I'm offended,
2004?
sir.
I actually don't know. I haven't.
Yeah, I remember people talking about that while we were in high school. It was that our AP history teacher. What was her name?
Yes, it was on. Yeah. Started in 2001 and had 9 seasons. Jesus.
What channel was that on?
Fox?
Hard to tell now. It just shows up on like the streaming services it's on.
Scrubs,
Fox, yeah, it was on Fox.
Scrubs.
Oh, interesting.
Friends.
I think Friends
Was Friends still on there?
I thought Friends was over at this point.
What about like
Actually, it started in 1994. It had 10 seasons. So this
Don't be looking shit up. That's the whole point of this. I just want some guesses. I've got the listings. So like
okay.
Stop looking shit up.
Oh, I know. ER.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Gosh.
Oh yep, there's 20.
The Simpsons.
Well, yeah.
That's cheating.
All right.
Family Guy.
Family Guy. Okay. All right.
Family
All right.
Guy,
So
yeah.
let's go through some of these. Okay. So when we talk about network television, this is a thing that any of our younger audience, that's funny, might not understand. But like, I'm talking about a very specific set of channels. We have ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, UPN, and the WB, and that's all of network television back then.
Oh, Smallville.
Yes, so I was actually just about to start with that. On the WB, we get shows like Smallville. Now, This is a Wednesday, so the primetime lineup on Wednesday was not super great. We'll get to Thursday in a second, because back then, all of good TV happened on Thursday for some reason.
Right, because people did things in the weekend.
Yeah, but like, why not Wednesday?
Shut up.
That's
Yeah,
supposed to be
exactly.
Thursdays.
Yes, Star Trek Enterprise would air at 8 o'clock p.m. on UPN. If you were instead watching the WB, you would catch an episode of Smallville followed by another episode of Smallville.
I remember that, yeah.
There was also Angel on during some parts of the year, which I never actually watched. I didn't watch Smallville either. That shit was dumb.
What's Angel? Is that the one with Jessica?
It was the Buffy spinoff.
It was the Buffy
Oh,
spin-off.
okay.
Y'all probably watched more TV than I did. If instead on a Wednesday you decided to watch Fox at 8 o'clock, you'd be treated to That 70s Show.
Oh, yeah.
Which was huge, followed by American Idol.
So, terrible fact about that 70s show. So they made That's 90s show, recently on Netflix.
Have you watched it?
I watched That 80s Show for a hot minute. That was on for a while.
So that 90s show is the same time between like now and that 70s show as when that 70s show was between, that time that aired and in the 70s, or the time between that 90s show in the 90s and that 70s show in the 70s is the same amount of time.
You good? You feel good with how you said it that time?
Yes, that came out better, yeah.
So basically what you're saying is that 70s show came out 30 years after the time it takes place, and so did that 90s show.
Right. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. It was a good story. After that stuff on Fox was The OC. I don't know if y'all remember that shit.
I never watched it.
Yep.
I remember seeing advertisements for it.
I did not watch it either. On CBS at 9 o'clock, you'd be treated to King of Queens.
Oh, yes. I never watched it when it was like airing. I've seen episodes like since it stopped airing, but
Sure. And then
I remember my parents watching it a lot. It was that and
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody
was
Loves
probably
Raymond
on at that point too, right?
Yeah.
I believe that was a different day of the week. We'll get to Thursday in a second.
Oh, okay.
And then on ABC at 9 o'clock was The Bachelor, or The Bachelorette, depending on what time of year you were in. Because that shit was fucking huge.
Still is.
Was Survivor a thing back then?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember when that came out.
Survivor's got 30 fucking seasons now.
I was gonna say Survivor was like one of your like original like reality TV show competition things.
Yeah.
So on Thursday, Survivor shows up at 8 o'clock. That is CBS.
Okay.
It is Survivor All-Stars. The end of Pearl Islands happened in the fall of the previous year. Starting in the spring of 2004 is Survivor All-Stars. None of that probably means anything to anyone who doesn't watch Survivor.
Yep.
But after Survivor, of course, CSI.
Yeah, well, yeah, CSI, yeah.
CSI was freaking huge.
Law and Order too, right, at the time?
Yes, Law and Order was also on Wednesdays on NBC, but it also is sprinkled in all over. Law and Order is one of those shows that they just kind of syndicated, so
Sure.
like it was whenever the fuck if they felt like putting it on.
Right.
Let's see. On Thursdays, we've got on Fox something called True Calling, which I've never heard of,
Nope.
and then The Simple Life repeats. Basically, all of their programming sucked. Apparently, I don't recognize any of these shows.
Say some of them?
Let's see. My Big Fat Obnoxious Fiance,
Jesus.
Oh my god.
which is frankly kind of rude.
That's a very
without knowing
aggressive
anything about it. Is an American reality television. Jesus Christ! Broadcast by Fox.
It
A
is.
6-episode series. That was it. 6 episodes.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Jesus, that sounds awful. Okay. NBC, that is the home of must-see TV.
Mm,
There's a lot of shit in here. Friends is in
Yeah.
there, as well as Will and
Yep.
Grace,
sure, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Frasier,
Frasier, yep.
Scrubs.
Scrubs.
There it is.
Hey.
At this moment, The Apprentice, the original,
Yeah.
or no, the 5th season of The Apprentice was airing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't like that.
Speaking of Donald Trump there. And then after all of that, ER.
There it is.
Yep.
Okay.
UPN on Thursdays was just wrestling because UPN was a fucking wild channel.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a I was gonna say it fit a certain theme, but it really didn't. It was all over the fucking place.
Just general campiness, I think, was the theme.
Yeah.
The WB at this time was airing a bunch of shows I'd never heard of. They were also in the summertime airing Reba,
I forgot she had her own
yeah.
show.
as well as Blue Collar TV. I don't know if y'all remember that shit.
Is that like the Blue Collar Comedy Tour guys?
Yes,
Yeah,
doing
was it like
like
stand-up?
doing sketch comedy.
Yeah, I remember they were pretty big
Okay.
at the time, or at least right before then.
That was like
so-
Larry the Cable Guy and all them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Foxworthy, two other guys.
Ron White and
Ron White, yeah. I
that last guy's name is fuck. I don't know why.
I can't remember it either.
Genuinely, one of the funnier of them too. It was pretty much Ron, then that guy, and then the other two.
Yeah. I agree, yeah.
Because that guy was pretty funny. Ron was fucking funny as fuck.
Ron White it still is funny too.
Yeah.
Some other things we may remember from in and around these time periods. Boston Public was big at the time.
Yeah.
That's got Will Shatner at the head. Wait, am I thinking of a different show?
Huh?
Oh no, Boston Public. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Boston Legal. Boston Public was the high school,
Right.
with a bunch of different actors in it. The Bernie Mac show was pretty big at the time. Joan of Arcadia, Jesus Christ. Oh, George Lopez's show was on at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm so happy for him.
Damn.
Yeah.
NCIS, the Navy version.
Sure.
Yep. Gibbs.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is the 2nd season of Fear Factor. Maybe 3rd season of Fear Factor is on at the time too.
Fucking Joe Rogan.
Fucking Joe Rogan. So, yep. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So that was kind of a little window into what 2004 television was like. This is the era in which Enterprise is kind of like hitting its stride. So like, I don't know. It all
It's a lot
kind of
of reality
sucked
TV.
back then. Yeah. There's a level of like, it almost doesn't matter what you were doing back then. You either had it like you got lucky or you were awful. The Thursday night lineup was basically like comfort TV for white folks was the NBC Thursday night lineup. But that, I mean, like, even that stuff was very like, oh god, this is not great.
See, this is why I just watch the fine television on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
On repeat forever.
Sci-Fi Channel and let's see, 2004. So Sci-Fi Channel and Comedy Central was what I was watching
I
in
watched a lot of
2004.
Comedy
Yeah.
Central.
A lot of Daily Show, etc. Yeah.
Yep.
Because this was I was a senior in high school, so I graduated from like watching Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and stuff, and went to Comedy Central and Sci-Fi.
Had the Colbert Show started at this point?
Yes, it either did or was just about to.
I say for some reason I thought he was still like on Daily Show.
Like I remember watching it in college a lot. I don't remember watching in high school. I remember watching the Daily Show in high school.
The Colbert Report started in 2004. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Oh no, I'm sorry, 2005. So a year later. Okay, so yeah, it was college for them.
Okay.
So. Okay, cool. Well, that was just a little brief deep dive. We will be back in a few minutes with a potpourri.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, so to finish out this episode, we are going to do a little bit of trivia. And so today's trivia is around polarity. We got a little reversal of polarity on this episode, so it struck me as a good idea to do some polarity trivia.
Can I use a veto and instead do trivia about like obscure Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff? Because I just watched that today.
Veto denied. No. Moving on.
Well, you know what? To be fair, he probably forgets all of it anyway by now, so that might be safe for me.
Hey, that's technically a mental disability.
All right. So basically, all these questions have something to do with the polarity of something, whether that's reversal or scanning or what have you. They all are instances in Star Trek episodes. None of these are New Trek, by the way. Instances of Star Trek episodes where they talk about polarity.
I'm just going to, like Babe Ruth famously calling his home run, I'm going to declare right now that I'm going to lose this spectacularly.
Oh, boy.
I tried to make the questions where you could at least guess them. Some of them are pretty tough. All right.
Okay.
In 2153...
The Enterprise.
What was the magnetic device that Reed gave to Archer used for?
Oh.
You
want us to shout it out?
Yeah. It's kind of your first answer.
To depolarize the magnetic couplers between all the Suliban ships.
You are correct.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, keep them just like that.
All right.
Obscure shit about this show that we've been analyzing for 3 years. Like that I got.
Yeah. In 2153, what part of the NX-01 had its polarity reversed that caused Trip to try to shut down the main reactor? As a hint, this is when they first encountered the anomalies.
The gravity plating?
The cargo hold?
No, it was the plasma relays.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Plasma relays. The plasma relays polarity got reversed. Sure.
I didn't know plasma relays were polarized, so okay.
Well, there you go. Yep. That's kind of the theme of this, is like, we'll just say polarity about anything. All right. While checking the polarity on this device, Trip had T'Pol press an electronic instrument on it. This was in Proving Ground, which we just watched a couple episodes ago. 2 episodes ago.
The weapon?
Stanford?
That doesn't feel right. Shit. What would they have been testing? Because they didn't have the weapon in their hands. Shran got it in his ship. What did Trip and T'Pol have in their hands? Something the Andorians gave them, maybe? Like, I don't know, like some kind of improvement to the ship, some kind of repair. Fuck if I know. I don't know, some kind of warp drive relay or whatever.
I mean, you're kind of close. It was the phase regulator. Regulator.
Yeah, the technical name for that is a warp drive relay or whatever. Yeah.
All right.
You had better not give him a point for that.
No, I did not. In 2267, who did Spock order to compute the polarity reversal of the shields?
Scotty?
That is my guess as well.
It was Hikaru Sulu.
That was my second guess, I think.
I was going to guess Chekhov next.
All right. In 2270, the USS Enterprise reversed the polarity of what on its own? This was TOS.
Yeah. No, it's the break room microwave.
This was on the Practical Joker episode.
The transporter?
Nope, it was gravity aboard the ship. They reversed the polarity of gravity on
which
the
made
ship.
the microwave run backwards.
Okay.
Who touched the panel of a shuttlecraft that brought Picard's doppelganger, causing sparks to fly, and mentioned that the polarity may not be compatible?
Geordie LaForge.
Riker.
It was Data.
Damn it. I was thinking it might have been Data because it's a little too early for LaForge to have any good screen time. Shit.
Oh my god. I feel like you're going to win this by a single point.
All right. Who was he speaking to when Geordi mentioned that he experienced some sort of polarity shift as his visor diagnostics found no result for the malfunction?
Beverly Crusher.
This was
That is
in
my
The
guess as
Enemy.
well.
This was in The Enemy. If
Crusher.
you remember that episode. It was not Crusher. It was Romulan Centurion Bakra.
That was definitely my second guess.
This is the one he's out of phase on the Romulan ship and the Enterprise and whatnot. Do you remember that?
No, not even a little bit. Continue.
The quantum resonance of a filament caused a polarity shift of what on the Enterprise D? This was in Disaster.
The shields?
That's usually a safe guess, but no.
Repeat the question?
The quantum resonance of a filament caused a polarity shift of what on the Enterprise D?
The antimatter system or injectors or whatever.
I'm gonna give it to you. It was the antimatter containment field.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's basically what I meant. Like something next to the fucking warp drive. Yeah.
No, you know what? Then that the antimatter containment field, it's using the shields.
But
Well, wait, hold on. He might be right. Hold on.
all right. When possessed by an Uxmai criminal, Data reversed the polarity of the force field around what place in the Enterprise?
The antimatter containment field.
Engineering.
Nope, it was 10 forward.
That's so like at 10 forward
Wait,
is actually in engineering.
Yeah, remember him and the other people who got possessed like took over 10 forward and took
Oh
hostages and stuff.
yeah.
All right. In DS9, the Huntress ship reversed the polarity of what on the space station? This was in
The
Captive
space station.
Pursuit.
The tractor beam.
Rob, what did you say?
The space station.
Do you want to amend that guess?
The antimatter containment field.
No, it was the shields.
Damn it, Rob! You were the chosen one.
All right. O'Brien reversed the polarity of energy fields on DS9 to trap who on the promenade?
The evil
prophets.
prophet bitch. What are those called? The evil people.
The Oni.
They're like the Ka or the
Pawraiths is who.
the Pa Wraith. Yeah, it was a person that was possessed by a Pa Wraith.
Rob,
Was it his wife?
Rob, who's your guess?
No, was it Cisco's kid when he was possessed?
Is that your guess?
That's my guess. Yeah, that's my guess.
Nope, it was Odo.
Damn it.
This was in the alternate. Okay. What was Dax searching for when she reversed the polarity of a force field in a cave passage on a planet in the Gamma Quadrant?
Worf.
This is when she was with those Klingons.
I said what, not who, Rob.
Oh.
They were looking.
The
what were
Defiant?
they? It was some kind of. Was it like a weapon, like a like some kind of sword or some shit, or was it just like a cache of like data from like their previous mission? I don't know.
What's your guess?
I'm gonna go with some kind of like cache of stuff from
Rob?
like their previous adventure.
Rob, what's your guess?
A treasure trove.
So you both got it wrong. Stanford, you should have gone with your original guess. It was the Sword of Kalis.
Fuck. That's what they were hunting for.
Yep, the Sword of
God
Kalis.
damn it. That's because I was like, man, weren't they looking for a sword? I'm like, no,
I
that's
thought
too
you were going to get it. The
I was
episode,
like, that's too stupid for even DS9, but oh boy.
I couldn't tell you the name of the episode because the name of the episode is The Sword of Kalis.
Sure.
What part of the ship did Voyager have several problems with involving polarity?
All of it.
This is on 3 separate episodes.
The shields.
Stanford?
Shit. That's, God, you're being so vague. The holodeck.
Nope. Rob got it right. Shields!
Damn it, Rob.
All right. Torres reversed the polarity of what to dampen the quantum field strength?
Jesus Christ.
This was in Hope and Fear.
The cyborg brain.
Reverse the polarity of what to dampen the quantum field strength. See, if I say it like that, it almost makes sense. Reverse the polarity of the warp core.
Nope, it was the quantum field. They reversed the polarity of the quantum field to reduce its strength.
Fuck you, Chris.
What?
Chris is such a douche. By the way, you're reversing the polarity on how much I like you right now. God damn it.
How do you reverse the polarity on a quantum field?
This is the point of this trivia.
So
point out how
you know how
stupid the
quantum
polarity
fields
talk in
point
the Star
one
Trek
way?
is.
When you reverse the polarity, it points the other way, Rob. Come on.
All right.
I hate everything.
What ship did Torres reverse the polarity of the deflector? Let me rephrase that. What ship's deflector did Torres reverse the polarity of when participating in the Antarian Transstellar Rally?
I know exactly what episode
The
this is,
runabout?
too. So she was either in the Delta Flyer or she was in that one lady's random fucking racing ship. But Tom was in that ship. I'm going to say the Delta Flyer.
You are correct. It was the Delta Flyer.
Tom was in What's-Her-Face's ship.
Yep.
Yeah, because they were sabotaged, so she had to reverse the polarity of some deflectors and shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that concludes our trivia. By a score
Thank
of
God.
3-1, Stanford emerges victorious. So yeah, polarity in Star Trek is dumb as fuck. The end.
Did you just find a list of all the times?
There is a memory alpha page of the times referencing polarity in Star Trek.
Jesus Christ.
This can't be anywhere near all of them.
Oh, it's not. It's definitely not. Yeah,
the worst trivia.
That's yeah. So that is our fun polarity trivia. Any final thoughts on the episode, guys?
No, that's all I got. I'm really looking forward to being done with this season. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on to the next show. I am.
This season is the best so far.
I agree.
Doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean it's good.
All right. Well, as Stanford mentioned at the top of the show, please rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends. It is a great help. And we will catch you next time.
See you later, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.